such as the case of narcissistic personality disorder. Interacting with an NPD sufferer can be confusing, frustrating, and even hurtful. The NPD individual will often overlook or ignore many of these traits that make them unlikable. Here are 9 signs which may be a result of narcissism. 1. Instead of listening, they're wrapped up in their own opinion. Ever felt looked down upon or ignored, even though that person was in no position to do so? You might have encountered a sign of narcissism. Their perception leads them to believe what you have to say isn't important, so they blank it out. Rather than actively listening and integrating in discussions, they treat all conversations as a platform to present their ideas only, which they think are the only ideas worth listening to. 2. They tend to cheat in relationships. Narcissists feel they're treasures that are too good for anyone. Bring this attitude into a relationship, and you have lightning waiting to strike. Cheating is often a way for narcissists to build their ego. Author Caterina Valentini at Psychology Today says that narcissists are incapable of forming any kind of normal relationship and will wreak havoc in partners' lives. Betraying someone and leaving them in great grief gives a narcissist a rush of power. 3. They constantly need to be admired. If you've seen a narcissist, maybe you've seen that they almost swagger, oozing conceit and arrogance with every breath. They may look like they possess tremendous confidence, but it's not enough. They need constant admiration. The delusion of always being entitled to admiration is why people around them often find themselves emotionally drained. To them, there's no greater rush than being put on a pedestal and worshipped by their fans and followers. 4. They do not take any criticism well. Have you ever commented on something someone said and they lashed out at you? Maybe the reaction was more hostile than expected. They think they're superior to others around them and believe themselves to be infallible. They react poorly, maybe yelling, throwing a tantrum, or with another unreasonable response when they perceive what you've said might be criticism. 5. They exploit others without guilt or shame. Narcissism and empathy don't go hand in hand. Narcissists are unwilling to see the world from the perspective of others. As a result, they're able to exploit others without any feeling of remorse. They can manipulate people to fulfill their own needs without regard for the consequences that their actions may have on others. 6. They belittle others. The narcissist thinks they're the best and brightest, so seeing proof that dictates otherwise, like someone who is more talented than they are at a particular activity, is a rude shock. The response is to make sure that the person is below them, where the narcissist feels most others belong. They try to be dismissive about the other person, to show that they don't really even care about them. And if that doesn't work, they resort to personal attacks. They belittle and intimidate the other person in order to assert their superiority over them. 7. They see themselves as more attractive than they really are. Despite the fact that everyone should feel attractive, there's a fine line between a healthy self-image and being delusional. This line is often crossed by narcissists who believe that they are exceptionally attractive regardless of having any imperfections. The narcissist uses this perceived superior attractiveness to justify to themselves why they're too good for everyone. 8. They gaslight those who are dear to them. Have you ever noticed feeling that you can't remember anything correctly around a specific person? When you're with that person, do you feel a little like you've lost your mind? That's due to gaslighting, a tactic narcissists use in order to manipulate and gain power and control over those around them. Gaslighting is frightening because it's insidious. The manipulation is lengthy and gradual, so the victim doesn't notice it happening, like when you grow taller. The end result of the long-term gradual manipulation is the devastation of the victim. It can reduce the most healthy, confident person down to being a shaking, paranoid shell. The victim no longer believes they know what's real, so they adopt the reality of the abuser, giving the narcissist full control. 9. They put some people on pedestals. Our last sign seems oddly contradictory to the other signs, but it is very logical, and here's why. Narcissists believe that they have to have perfection in everything, including people they associate with. A narcissist will often cozy up to someone higher in status, believing that their perfection will somewhat rub onto them. For example, that suck-up in class who always gets the lecturer's full attention, or the brown-noser at work who barely does any work but gets promotions.